Welcome back. In this movie, we are going to clean up the image a little bit more. We're going to organize our layers, and in addition, we're going to start to work on the teeth. All right, well, for starters, let's do a little bit more retouching here. One of the things I noticed is that this piece of hair is standing out too much for me. So I'm going to grab the clone stamp tool. Nice low opacity, something pretty low there. I'll create a new layer, and I'll option click on the green, and then I'm just going to bring in some of this green background on top of the hair. What it will do is it will make the hair look a little bit less prominent, a little bit perhaps more transparent. Now as I do this, I'm adding an effect that's too strong across the hair. That's no big deal. I'm going to lower the opacity. Again, I'm just looking to kind of take that down a little bit in the brightness value so it fades to the background. And this is just a personal decision. It's not something you have to do, but again, it felt a little bit too strong. That made it a little bit more transparent. Great. Well, let's organize our layers. We'll click on our topmost layer for the retouching, then the bottommost layer, press Command-E on a Mac, Control-E on a PC, name this Cleanup. This is all of our cleanup work, and then let's click on that background layer. I'll rename that one, and we'll double-click the name there, BG, and we're going to go ahead and lock that down, and now we have our overall before and then after. Great. Well, nice work on that so far. Let's begin to work on the teeth. We'll zoom in, click on our cleanup layer, press Command-J on a Mac, Control-J on a PC. We'll name this Teeth. And our teeth are going to take a couple of steps to improve. No big deal. We'll go through those steps. First, we're going to grab the marquee tool, make a marquee selection of the mouth there. Then we're going to open up Filter and Liquify. The reason we made that selection is because it will speed up Photoshop by leaps and bounds because it only has to render the liquefaction in this area. Well, there's a handy tool here. It's called the Freeze Mask tool. And you can show your mask, and let's show it, let's say, in cyan. And when I paint across the image, I should say I have a brush size pretty small. Brush density is pretty high here, so I'm painting pretty strongly on this mask, and brush pressure as well is pretty high. So I'll go ahead and paint this in, and basically what I'm able to do is lock down different areas of my photograph. And I don't really need to paint over all the photograph, but in this case, just everything but that one tooth that I want to work on for now. So again, I don't need to paint across the lips because I can mask that out later. All right, well, now that I've done that, I'm going to grab this tool, which is called the Forward Warp tool, and I'm going to change my brush settings. Now, my brush density I'm going to leave pretty high, but my pressure I'm going to take down. I want to do this a little bit more delicately, and even for that matter, I'm going to lower my brush density. I'm going to zoom in here, make my brush nice and small by pressing the left bracket key. I'm just going to start to bring this down a bit. Actually, I'm going to make it a little bit bigger now that I think about it, because I think that will smooth out this transition here a bit. And I'm just looking to bring that corner of the tooth down. So I'll just go ahead and try to nudge that down. I'm going to try another tool. It's the Swirl tool. And when I do that, what's going to happen is it should start to swirl this around. So go ahead and click a few times here. Just bring that, rotate that tooth around a little bit. That's looking good. And then go back to Forward Warp, and then we'll bring it down a bit. You may be thinking, okay, are we making progress? Well, here's what you can do. Turn Show Mask off, and then turn Show Backdrop on 100%. We can see our before and after. So here is our before, and there's our after. I would say that's a pretty decent improvement, right? We're starting to bring that tooth around a little bit. All right, great. So far, I think so good. Let's show the mask again so we can see what we're freezing. And if we want to erase part of the mask, we can always do that. Simply paint on it. We can erase it if we need to get rid of part of that mask there to work on another little area of the photograph. Let's say this tooth, we wanted to bring that down. All right, well, let's zoom out, see how we're doing with this one, show the mask off, and look at our before and after. Here is our before and then our after. Great. Well, I think that looks kind of nice. Just straighten that out a little bit. We'll click OK to apply that, and then we'll zoom back in on this area of the photograph. Deselect, Control-D on a PC, Command-D on a Mac, or select Deselect. All right, so here we have our tooth adjustment. Now, I don't want that everywhere. So what I'm going to do, hold down the Option key on a Mac, Alt key on a PC, click on the Add Layer Mask icon, grab my brush tool, and then paint with white, 100%. Press the 0 key, takes that to 100. Bring this brush size up a little bit. I'm just going to paint into this area where I want to bring down this tooth. Then we'll zoom out a little bit and say, okay, how does that look? How do we do? Subtle little improvement, but that's kind of nice, right? Another thing I would like to do is I would like to open up a little bit more space underneath this tooth here, underneath the one on the right, or my right. Create a new layer, click on New Layer, grab my brush tool, hold down the Option key on a Mac, Alt key on a PC, click on that background color there, and then we'll make a nice small brush size. And I'm just looking to kind of round out this corner a little bit and add a little bit of a gap underneath that tooth. So the height of each tooth is a little bit closer to each other, meaning that they're a little bit more the same. All right, let's zoom out, see how our little gap worked out. Here's that before and after. Now we kind of reshaped those teeth. They look really good. I don't know if you can see that, but here's the before, and then the after, just reducing and simplifying. Nice thing about having this on a layer is we can obviously back this off to create a little bit of a smoother edge too. And I think that is looking really good. Nice work cleaning up these teeth here. Let's continue to work on this image in the next movie.